Cool. I'm excited. So everybody, I remember it was like 5 years ago. I was at work. I was at this cubicle farm. We were overlooking the Hudson River. And I'm talking to my friend Seth. And Seth says to me, we're talking about work. And I couldn't stop telling him the story. I don't remember what the story was. I don't remember if it was, I don't think it had a real point to it, but it was going on for quite a while. But I really wanted to tell him the story because it was fascinating to me at the time. And after 5 minutes, Seth just turns to me and he says, dude, like we have work to do. Can like we just like do this some other time? Can like what's going on here? And this would happen a lot. Like I get very excited about telling these stories to people and tell them all about these cool things that I'd learned or thought about, like real interesting stuff. But people didn't want to hear it. And I realized that what I should be doing is writing a blog, so then I can put all the things together, let people read it, and kind of share it with everybody. And I didn't have to tell everybody these stories. I could write them for myself. So I started writing this blog, and at the beginning I was a little shy. So what I did was just kind of tell people about, things that I found online or little bits of comments and things like that. And it was fine, but there was really a problem with it because I was spending so much time documenting all these things on the internet that I didn't have a lot of time to really read it or think about it. And even worse, because I didn't think about it, I was just putting up things that were other people's thoughts. I didn't add anything to it. I was like just vomiting up the internet. I was a very bad version of like Google or Yahoo. And this all hit me one day when I was talking to a friend and we were at lunch and I said, hey, had you read the new book by Malcolm Gladwell? And he kind of looked at me and he's like, no, like I don't listen to people like that. And it was kind of shocking to me because I'd done this whole blogging thing based on the fact of pointing to people whose opinions were more valid than mine. And from what he was saying, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to use somebody's authority, some celebrity writer's authority to prove my point. I had to own that idea. I had to move it forward myself. And so I started writing about things that were important to me and hard questions that I wanted to find the answers to. So I wrote about how do computers and humans work together? Or why should we learn anything when we have Google? And I have these things on my website and you can read them. It took me a really long time to write these first couple things because I wasn't a particularly good writer and I was trying to find the right answer, which to me was so much research and I realized you can't find the right answer. Like the whole point of this of writing is to find the moment that's really compelling and interesting. What's the aha moment? What's the little bit of lightning you can put in a jar and really make it interesting for people? And I started doing that. And then a couple of my friends were saying, hey, this is really interesting. Can I subscribe to your blog? Like, I really like to read this. And, then I started getting other comments from people, which were really great over time. And so I remember one comment was somebody said, I read this to my mother and she thought it was from the New York Times. Or another friend, actually Lee, who comes here sometimes, I really like my blog, so now he pays me to write for his corporate blog. And then another one was somebody said, this was such a good blog. Your New Year's post for the Jewish New Year was so good. I gave it to my children and we all discussed it, which I thought was just wonderful. And the real coup de grace for all this was that Seth, that guy in the beginning, the dude, we have to go back to work guy, he said to me a couple months ago, he wrote me a note that said, wow, that was such another good blog post. I can't believe it took me so long to start reading this. And that was just probably the best of all of it. So I encourage everyone to write a blog. It's a great way to kind of practice your writing, build up your critical thinking skills, and also just keep in touch with old friends and make some new ones. So thank you very much.